Welcome to Story Voyage, where every story is a thrilling journey. Dive into a world of intrigue, passion, and unexpected twists. Today, we bring you a tale that will make you question what lies beneath the surface of a perfect life. Ready to embark on this adventure? Let's get started. Cheating wife's story, her actions, and daughter's betrayal have consequences. Introduction. In the quaint town of Willow Creek, everyone knew each other and secrets were hard to keep. For David Carter, life seemed perfect, or so he thought. Married to his high school sweetheart, Linda, for over 20 years, and the proud father of a bright young woman named Emma, David believed he had everything he'd ever wanted. But beneath the surface of his idyllic life lay dark secrets, ready to unravel his world. The calm before the storm. David was a man of routine. Every morning he woke up early, kissed his wife goodbye, and headed to his hardware store, which he'd run for the past decade. Linda, a devoted housewife, took care of their home, while Emma, their intelligent daughter, was in her final year of college studying psychology. Their life was predictable, comfortable, and seemingly perfect. But David noticed small changes over time: Linda's distant behavior, her increased time spent out of the house, and her sudden interest in fashion and social events she previously ignored. He brushed off his concerns, attributing them to midlife changes. However, an unsettling feeling gnawed at him. The discovery: one day, David returned home early, having forgotten important documents for a business meeting. As he approached the house, he noticed something odd: a car he didn't recognize parked in their driveway. His heart raced with an unfamiliar dread. Entering the house quietly, David heard muffled voices coming from upstairs. His mind raced as he climbed the stairs, following the sounds to the slightly ajar bedroom door. What he saw shattered his world: Linda, his beloved wife, in bed with another man. The scene played out like a nightmare, slow and torturous. David's heart pounded, his mind spinning as he silently backed away, his face pale and his body trembling. The silent anguish. For days, David kept the discovery to himself, unable to confront Linda or even process the betrayal. He went through the motions of his daily life, his mind a whirlwind of emotions: anger, sadness, confusion, and disbelief. He spent nights in sleepless torment, replaying the moment over and over in his head, trying to understand how everything had gone so wrong. In an attempt to make sense of it all, David began to distance himself from Linda, who noticed his cold demeanor but dismissed it as stress. The tension in the house grew, palpable and suffocating, as David wrestled with the reality of his broken marriage. The daughter's betrayal. One evening, unable to bear the burden alone, David decided to confide in his daughter, Emma. They had always been close, and he hoped that she would provide the comfort and clarity he desperately needed. As they sat together in the living room, David poured out his heart, revealing his discovery of Linda's affair. But Emma's reaction was not what he expected. Instead of the outrage or sympathy he anticipated, Emma remained silent, her face expressionless. After a long pause, she finally spoke, her voice devoid of emotion. She admitted that she had known about the affair for months and had been helping Linda keep it a secret. David's world crumbled once again. His own daughter, whom he had cherished and supported, had betrayed him just as deeply as Linda had. The pain was unbearable, and for the first time in his life, David felt truly alone. The people he loved the most had deceived him in the worst possible way. A cold determination. As the days passed, David's grief transformed into something darker: a cold, unyielding resolve. He knew he could never forgive Linda or Emma for their betrayal. The thought of confronting them directly felt futile. Instead, David began to channel his pain into a meticulous plan for revenge. He started by hiring a private investigator to gather evidence of Linda's affair. Over the next few weeks, the investigator provided David with damning proof: photos, recordings, and detailed reports that left no doubt about the extent of Linda's infidelity. With this evidence in hand, David felt a sense of grim satisfaction. But his plan was far from complete. Unveiling the financial web, David knew that simply exposing the affair wasn't enough. He wanted to ensure that Linda and Emma felt the full weight of their betrayal. He began to unravel their financial situation, discovering that most of their wealth was tied up in joint accounts and the family home. Over the course of several months, David discreetly transferred assets to secret accounts, leaving only a fraction of their wealth visible. Next, he manipulated Linda into signing over the house to him under the guise of refinancing the mortgage. Linda, oblivious to his true intentions, signed the documents without hesitation. David now held all the cards, and the stage was set for his final act of revenge. The Gathering Storm, the annual summer festival in Willow Creek, was the highlight of the year, a time when the entire town gathered for a weekend of celebration. David knew that this public event would be the perfect stage to reveal Linda's betrayal. He meticulously planned his speech, ensuring that the timing and delivery would maximize the impact. On the night of the festival, David took to the stage, his heart pounding not with nerves but with anticipation. He began by speaking warmly about his love for his family and the life they had built together. The crowd listened attentively, unaware of the bombshell that was about to drop. Then, with a cold, measured tone, David revealed the truth about Linda's affair. He displayed the evidence on a large screen behind him: photos, text messages, and recordings that left no room for doubt. The crowd gasped in shock as Linda, standing in the audience, turned pale and began to tremble. Emma, standing beside her mother, looked equally horrified as the full extent of her father's plan became clear. The aftermath of fallout from David's revelation was swift and brutal. Linda was ostracized by the community, her reputation in shambles. Her lover, a man from a neighboring town, quickly distanced himself from the scandal, leaving Linda alone to face the wrath of the town. She was forced to sell what little assets remained, moving out of Willow Creek in disgrace. Emma's life was equally upended. Without her father's financial support, she had to drop out of college and take on a series of low-paying jobs just to make ends meet. The dreams she had once held so dearly now seemed out of reach, and the relationship with her father was irreparably broken. She was left to reflect on her role in the destruction of her family, haunted by guilt and regret. David's new beginning. As for David, he found a strange sense of peace in the aftermath of his revenge. He knew that he would never fully heal from the betrayal, but he took solace in the knowledge that those who had wronged him had paid the price. With nothing left to tie him to Willow Creek, David sold his business and moved to a new city, where he began a new life. In his new home, David embraced the anonymity and freedom that came with a fresh start. He no longer had to face the memories of his old life, and he focused on rebuilding himself, this time with a steely resolve and a guarded heart. He knew that he could never trust as he once had, but he also knew that he would never allow himself to be so vulnerable again. Conclusion: David Carter's story is a chilling reminder of the destructive power of betrayal and the lengths to which a man can go when pushed to the brink. Linda and Emma's actions had devastating consequences, not just for themselves, but for the family they had once held dear. In the end, David's cold and calculated revenge left no room for forgiveness or mercy, forever altering the lives of everyone involved. In the quiet town of Willow Creek, the echoes of their story serve as a stark warning: betrayal, once uncovered, can set off a chain of events that leads to unimaginable destruction. Thank you for joining us on this journey with Story Voyage. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next captivating tale. Until next time, stay with us as we continue to bring you more thrilling stories.